Pag sinasabi nating philosophical base, it refers to encompassing term referring to the body of principles on which are rooted the professional's attitudes and guides professional conduct or behavior. So, lahat ng kinakailangan ng ating action kasi on a personal level, we can say that we act, no, ang ating value, ang upbringing natin, yung social environment natin, how they molded us, ano yung factor na bakit ganito yung action natin, mag-behave tayo in a professional manner, is dapat naka-align siya doon sa ating professional standard. At yung professional standard natin, ito yung philosophical base. Lahat ng action natin dapat sang-ayon doon sa ating body of principles. Dapat ito yung magiging action natin in the conduct of in helping our clienteles. Kasi may pinagkaiba yung personal sa professional. Kasi for example, sa personal perspective mo titingnan yung philosophical base. Oo, you believe in inherent worth and dignity, but then again you have political biases. And sa political biases, for example, if sa issue natin ngayon, if DDS or Dilawan or whatever your political affiliation, or you support that belief of that certain political party, nagiging bias yung motivation mo, nagiging bias din yung how the way you treat and deal with your client. But when it comes to professional conduct, hindi ka magiging ang social work kasi, ang philosophical base ng social work, ito'y acceptable sa ating profession. So, basically, kapag align yung values mo, kapag align yung attitude mo sa philosophical base natin or yung professional standard, then ang possibility nito is may iwasan natin yung ethical dilemma. Okay? So, what is our philosophy? What's the rationale behind our profession? Based from the previous discussion natingnan natin that social work exists because pwede natin siyang tingnan sa perspective that there is an existing concern or need. Ang need, physical, emotional, the need for self-fulfillment, yung kayang Larsen, at saka existing ang resources doon sa environment. So kung ang tao ay may pangangailangan, ang pangangailangan na yon ay matutugunan ng kanyang environment. And sa social work ngayon, yung magmi-mediate ng process between the individual coping and environmental demand. So, yun yung social functioning. But behind that, more than that, yung pinakaugat, bakit tayo andito ng mga social worker, because yung rationale ng ating profession, because we believe in inherent worth and dignity of every human being. Saan ba ito nanggaling? Nanggaling ito doon sa paniniwala, kasi ang profession natin nag-evolve from Judeo-Christian belief that every man was created out from image and likeness of God. If that man is created out from the image and likeness of God, thereby we treat him as a human being who has worth and dignity. Meaning inherent, pinanganak siya, nobody can give you that right, nobody can take away that worth and dignity. Sa ngalan na pinanganak kang tao, you have inherent, you have worth and dignity. Okay, yun yung pinaka-ultimate na rationale natin, yung pinaka-ultimate na philosophy natin that we believe in the profession. Values, ang philosophical base, may component niya, we have from philosophy, then out from that philosophy we create set of values, then out from that values we have we created set of principles, and out from those principles, doon nanggaling yung code of ethics natin. So, dito muna tayo sa values. Pinakaunang value, ang value dito is, ang value na tinutukoy, hindi cultural value like pagiging hospitable ng Filipino, pagiging magalang. Those are cultural values na meron tayo as Pinoy. Pero dito, values na tinutukoy ko, ano ba yung pinapahalagahan ni social work? Unang pinapahalagahan ni social work, that each person has the right to self-fulfillment. Meron siyang endowed capacity and human potentials na kinakailangan niya ma-fulfill yung pangangailangan niya at ma-fulfill yung kagustuhan niya. And hindi yan limited sa number 1. Kasi if that person has the right, meron niyang kaakibat na responsibility. Rights and responsibility. Yan yung talagang hindi lang puro rights, kundi may obligation ka rin. That if meron kang karapatan na ma-fulfill yung pangangailangan mo, you have also the obligation as a member of society, kasi you cannot isolate yourself from society. Each person has the obligation to seek ways of self-fulfillment that contribute to the common good. Hindi lang sa self-fulfillment na ikaw lang yung makaka-contribute, kundi kasali rin yung ibang tao. Now, number one, each person has the right to self-fulfillment. If pinapahalagahan natin itong value na ito, then pwede nating tingnan yung tao na kahit gaano pa kalaki yung problema, kahit gaano pa kahirap yung problema, kasi naniniwala tayo na siya yung may karapatan na na i-bridge yung kanyang pangailangan, then that's the very essence of social work, the empowerment, no? That we empower people to stand on their own, even though wala na tayo sa helping process. Number two, if pinapahalaga natin yung person has the obligation, then we are relying on the capacity of the individual to help others. Number three, society has the obligation to facilitate self-fulfillment of the individual. So, hindi lang si individual na merong right to self-fulfillment at saka obligation towards the society. Number three, society has the obligation it should be reciprocated, no? It should be reciprocated. If society has the obligation, kung naniniwala tayo, kung pinapahalagan natin that society has the obligation, then lahat ng ating action, kasi we belong to the social organization that help those individual to fulfill his need, to fulfill his human potential. Kung pinapahalagaan natin ito, then we create organizations. Then we create different system that would facilitate the process of self-fulfillment of those individuals. Another value, number 4, pinapahalagahan natin na bawat tao is required for the harmonious development of his powers, socially provided and socially safeguarded opportunities for satisfying his basic needs. No, ang ibig lang sabihin nito, every individual ay merong legal at saka moral obligation to fulfill his basic needs that is in accordance to the others. And we use social justice, we use the principle of equity in dealing with this value. Another, social organization is required to facilitate individuals' effort of self-realization. So pinapahalagahan natin yung social organization. Ano bang example ng mga social organization? We have public social organization, we have the government, the primary duty bearer, no? The primary duty bearer, which states that the state should fulfill, no, should respect, should protect human rights, should fulfill basic needs, should protect the welfare of its constituents. Another example ng social organization, NGOs, semi-private, mutual organization, and even family as a basic unit of society, na-consider siya as social organization. Itong social organization na pina-highlight dito sa number 5 value na ito, we believe or pinapahalagahan natin ang social organization. That is why ina-affiliate natin yung sarili natin doon sa existing social organization, or we create a social organization. A social organization in a social work context, ito yung social welfare agency. So, pinapahalagahan natin yung social welfare agency. That is why, kung pinapahalagahan natin itong social welfare agency, we should create programs and services. We should tap resources. We should create resources. We should network with other social organizations kasi pinapahalagahan natin. And because pinapahalagahan natin, meron din tayong mga methodologies na papasok, social welfare administration and supervision. So, yun. Number 6. Social organization must make available socially provided devices for need satisfaction as wide in range, variety, in quality as general welfare allows. So, we should maximize this social organization. No? We should craft or make this social organization na merong available na any tools or any devices that would satisfy the need, that would solve a problem, that would develop to a standard quality of life, as wide in range, variety, and quality as general welfare allows. Ito yung limitations ng sentence na ito, as general welfare allows, kasi nakadepende din siya sa, kasi we cannot tawag nito, universalize these values according to the economic development of a certain nation. For example, iba yung pamamaraan ng social welfare sa first world country at iba yung pamamaraan sa social welfare sa mga developing countries like the Philippines. For example, in Russia, kasi I was able to attend European Union, European school na orientation in saan nga yan? In the Centro Escolar University in Manila. Doon ang naging speaker doon was a Russian Association of Social Workers. Mostly ang problem doon sa Russia were mental health, yun yung mga typical first world problems like mental health, and even they are trying to create a new field of social welfare, yung animal social worker. So hindi lang tao yung emerging na mga problema doon, pati problema ng hayop pinatupag na rin nila. Pero sa atin naman, iba yung konteksto ng problema, kasi most of our problems deeply rooted siya doon sa problema ng poverty. And because poverty as the main problem in our country, we cannot allow the appropriation of funds to be divulged directly to social welfare programs and services, specifically sa DSWD. Kasi ang number one priority of any administration per se is yung education. Number one talaga yung DepEd na pinakamalaking pondo. And despite na pinakamalaki yung pondo, marami pa rin kakulangan. It's because ang resources as a nation, ang resources as a nation natin is not as tawag nito, as developed as this first country or like the Canada or the United States na mga welfare state. Okay? So, yun. If pinapahalaga natin, balikan natin number 6, if pinapahalaga natin yung social organization, then we should provide social welfare programs and services. Yes. Doon sa ating 6 values, no? Meron tayong 4 na konsepto na pwedeng makuha out from those 6. First is the concept of human potentials and capacities. Itong konsepto na ito, nanggaling ito doon sa number 1 value, no, na each person has the right to self-fulfillment. And the concept of human potentials and capacity itself, this refers to the belief that man is inherently endowed with potentials and capacities. Number 2, ito yung nakabase ito sa number 2 tsaka number 3 values that each person has the obligation to seek ways to, as a member of the society, to contribute to the common good. Tsaka yung number 3 na value that society has the obligation to facilitate self-fulfillment. Ito yun, the concept of social responsibility. This concept refers to the constitution, ang konsepto na ito ay nanggaling din doon sa value at the same time sa ating constitution, which clearly states that the state should provide or shall uphold social responsibility to its constitution. The state has the legal, at the same time moral obligation to fulfill, to protect, and to promote the welfare of its constituents. Number 3, the concept of equal opportunities. This concept is basically based on the ideals of social justice. This social justice has 2 elements, no? The fairness and equality. Yung other concept naman that we get from the equal opportunities that pinag-ugatan ng social justice is yung access to opportunities. Access to opportunities do not discriminate against any individual or group, regardless of their background, regardless of their affiliation, regardless of their physical. Tsaka as long as tao ka, meron kang equal access to opportunities. No? It does not discriminate individual or group. Lack of access for one reason or another detracts from the meaning of this concept. So, yun lang. And number 4 na concept is the concept of social provision. Social provision, it refers to the desirability of providing resources for the satisfaction of human needs for the human welfare. It is based on the premise, this concept of social provision, based on the premise that there is always people everywhere at all times with unmet needs or problems beyond their capacity to solve. That is why existing yung ating system, social welfare system, social welfare organization, and even social organizations like family. Because everywhere, hindi natin ma-assume na kaya ng tao. There are those people that anywhere, there are times na hindi nila mafulfill yung kanilang pangangailangan that is beyond their coping capacity. Okay? So, yun. So, the philosophy, out from that philosophy, meron tayong set of values. Then out from that set of values, we concluded by coming up with the set of concepts. Now, ngayon, let's look at how we view as a social work from philosophical perspective, how we view a man. So, according to Leonard Schneiderman, we view man as a natural versus transcendental view. We can view man as social, asocial, and antisocial in democracy view. First, we have to look at natural versus transcendental view. Sa natural view, man can be seen as part of the nature and can be studied. So, ibig sabihin, man is seen as a highly complex social, organic, psychological, and cultural variables can be viewed, can be integrated in viewing man. So, naniniwala tayo that man can be studied because he is part of the nature, and yung cultural variables, psychological variables, social variables are part in studying human being. And based from this, then we can see to it that natural view, mapipredict natin yung behavior ng tao. Pero, on the other hand, transcendental view says that science can never fully explain, partly due to ignorance and partly because man has a potential to transcend to the natural order of things. Because man has the capacity to choose, has the capacity to create, and man is a rational being himself. Thereby, we cannot predict, we cannot never fully understand or fully explain that man, the behavior of man. Kasi ang transcendental view mo, merong capacity ang person na transcend beyond order of national things because he is a unique being that has that man has the capacity to choose, has the capacity to create, and as a rational being. So we cannot never fully comprehend man, or never cannot be understood. So another view is man can be viewed as social, asocial, and antisocial. If we try to look at man in a social perspective, then we believe that man seeks to live in good terms with others, to be part of it, and to contribute to the common good. If, on the other hand, if we view man as a social being, then we can see to it that man is a discrete individuals who come together for their own protection and mutual benefit. And on the other hand, if we try to look at man as antisocial, then we can see to it that man is viewed as inherently self-seeking and egoistical being, no, na whatever comes in their way, kung hindi pabor sa kanila, kung ayaw nila, kung nakadepende lang sa kanyang standard, then we can view this man as an antisocial. So ano bang applicability nito sa social work practice? If we view man as a social being, then we can use that in an advantage in organizing themselves to contribute to the common good. If we view man as a social being, then we come to the set of theoretical framework and understanding man that man do not participate, or in the context of community organizing, man has the characteristic to be apathetic. It's because it does not benefit that participation in his own welfare. And if we view man as antisocial, then we can look at man in a deviant perspective, that he is not following the standard or the norm of the society because he is egoistic being, he is a selfish being, and he does not want to cooperate with others, and he violates the rights of the others because in the name of self-fulfillment. So yun yung perspective na nakikita natin in the context of our profession. And another view democracy view of man. If we try to look at in this perspective, man is viewed as capable of reason, rational analysis, and choice. The naturalistic view of man is considered, but his exercise of his choice is highly regarded. And this third view of man is the source of social work value. Kung sa tatlong pananaw na yon sa tao, ito yung dito nanggaling yung value natin. The right to self-fulfillment, every individual has the obligation, society has the obligation, we create social organization to facilitate those values, and sa pananaw na ito, dito nanggaling yung social work value because social work adheres to the democratic view of man. Democratic theory is the basis of social work value, yung sinabi ko. Ang proposition ng democratic theory is based on the good and desirable for man to fulfill his potential and to realize himself and help others to do the same. Yun yung pinakaugat ng social work, no? Pinakaugat ng value ng social work, that we believe that it is good and desirable for man to fulfill his potential and to realize himself and to help others to do the same. Now, from that democratic view na pinag-ugatan ng values natin, set of values, then mas punta tayo dun sa mas specific, no? Mas specify out from that values kung ito yung pinapahalagahan natin, what should be our attitudes as a social worker. Ito yung first principle. Pag sinasabi nating generic principle in social work, applicable siya sa maski anong methodology. Casework, group work, and CO, and even the secondary methodologies, or even doon sa maraming 16 methodologies, no? Emerging methodologies out from the international definition. Sinasabi natin generic, applicable sa lahat ng methodologies. First principle is acceptance. It is the basis of accepting the client of who he is and where he is at the moment. Ibig sabihin, kung stress ang ating kliyente, kung galit na galit, then we accept them as a person. And we understand them by getting to know, by being familiar with our theories. Siguro we can, based from the structural functionalism, based from the family theory, based from attachment theory, or based from psychodynamic, na siguro yung tao na yan galit na galit because pinapairilan niya yung defense mechanism. It's because naging hurtful para sa kanyang ego. So acceptance, no? Accept that person who he is. Ano yung background, regardless of the ethnic background, regardless of the family upbringing, regardless of his own value, we accept him, who he is and where he is at the moment. It means dealing the client in reality, no? It shows acceptance of the person in reason for the conduct, but not the conduct itself. Anyway, another manifestation of acceptance, meron tayong mga non-judgmental attitude or purposeful expression of feelings. Remember, this is another principle based sa casework. Pero sa generic, napasok natin siya sa acceptance. Acceptance, in a way, it is manifested through allowing the client to ventilate, express understanding without agreeing or disagreeing. We just have to allow to make him comfortable by ventilating or express his feeling. Siguro na-express niya in a way na hindi niya ma-articulate, he cannot find the exact word to articulate his thoughts, kaya palagi siyang nagmumura. And we just allow that individual na magmura as of the moment without agreeing or disagreeing. That is the acceptance in nature. That is also manifestation ng acceptance. We show positive and undivided interest. It does not mean, no, acceptance, meron din siyang limitation. Hindi ibig sabihin na tanggap ng tayo ng client kung sino man siya, kung saan man siya ngayon sa kanyang situation. It does not mean approval of deviant behaviors or attitude. Now, acceptance, another thing in acceptance, it also means recognizing clients' strengths and weaknesses, capacities, and even limitations. So in that way, if we try to look at the strengths and weaknesses, we are trying to also to look into ourselves. No? Part of exercising acceptance as a principle, as an attitude in the practice, We are making ourselves this self-discipline, and in a way that itong acceptance, ito yung pinakauna, the first principle, pinaka-importanting principle, or some of them term this as a nucleus principle kasi nag-ugat lahat ng principles sa acceptance. Kasi acceptance, on the first hand, ito yung pinakaunang principle natin ginagamit in dealing in the helping relationship. Pinakauna. Kasi in establishing rapport, dun, may exercise natin yung acceptance. There will be no self-determination if walang acceptance. There will be no confidentiality and the rest of the principles without acceptance. Because acceptance, the first hands, will disarm the client. For example, pumasok yung kliyente, galit na galit, or involuntary client, CICL yung kliyente mo, meron siyang mistrust on authority figure. For example, sa'yo, kasi hindi automatic na equal yung relationship when you are dealing with involuntary client. Usually tinitingnan ka nila as higher authority because you are a professional, no? Meron tayong professional authority as an tawag nito, as an element of our profession. No, ngayon, if we have that professional authority, hindi talaga pantay yung authority natin now. Si CICL na involuntary, nagiging hesitant, nagiging mistrustful, and hindi kaagad-agad na kung tatanungin mo siya, medyo bastos yung, for example, medyo bastos yung kanyang pananalita. Siguro, yun yung way niya para i-isolate niya yung self sa'yo na hindi siya maki-engage ng professional helping relationship. Kasi, because of his experience. Now, because of that experience, if we will try to exercise acceptance as a principle, then we can disarm that client. No, we can disarm that client from his anxiety, from his situation na ayaw niya makipag-engage into helping relationship. So that is the tawag nito, nature of acceptance. Pag sinasabi din natin acceptance, regardless of the upbringing, the situation, political affiliation, cultural affiliation, the ethnic, the culture of our client, we accept them na to avail programs and services. If pasado naman siya sa standards, pero hindi ibig sabihin na automatic magiging kliyente natin sa. What if wala sa atin yung resources? Then we can refer it to another social welfare agency or social organization that has the capacity to help that individual. Acceptance in a way that we accept the client who is at what by making short or brief background from the client so that the facilitation of referral will go smooth kasi may initial information ka na nakuha sa kanya. That is the nature of acceptance. First set of principle in social work is yung participation of the client problem solving. It should be clear from the very beginning that client is involved in the entire helping process. So, ang helping process naman usually divided into three. The beginning phase, which composed of assessment and planning. The middle phase, yun yung where should be our time, should be bulk, no? Should be focused on the implementation of the plan, and the ending phase, evaluation and termination. Beginning phase, much of the effort of the social worker should be manifested in the beginning phase because she should engage the client into helping process. The worker is the one who initiate actions to elicit data, to elicit understanding from the client, do the legwork, yun. And minimal and makikita natin sa framework na present ko doon sa test taking strategies and tips. Sa middle phase, equal na yung effort ng worker and saka ng kliyente. The client is doing something about this problem at the same time si worker, because there are certain actions na hindi pwedeng gawin ng kliyente na ang merong authority lang na makagawa is worker. So, mapapansin natin that the client in relation to his problem not rely on social worker to take all necessary action, but all, take note of the word all, no? All necessary action, because there are certain interventions such as, for example, yung referral. So, ang may authority lang is the social worker. So, ang kakandak na referral, dapat si social worker. No? So, sa middle phase, equal na yung effort. At saka sa ending phase, dapat na-emphasize na doon yung empowered na talaga si kliyente. Before we end the relationship, dapat he can stand on its own. Meron na siyang, nakakope na siya, meron na siyang mga na-learn na bagong coping mechanism to overcome the new problem, the new situation. At saka sa ending phase naman, konti na dapat yung effort ng worker. Okay? and have the client to understand the essence of participation and the beginning of the helping relationship. So yun, dapat alam ni kliyente because we are working with the client, not working for the client. So if simple lang naman yung principle kapag sa mga options during the case situation in casework, group work, and CO, kapag yung option A, B, C, D, tingnan natin, i-assess natin, yung option A, ang response ba ni social worker doon sa question, isang ayon doon sa principles natin? Kung hindi, then the possibility that option A is wrong. Option B, tingnan natin, principle of acceptance, principle of participation, principle of self-determination, principle of confidentiality. Nasasang-ayon ba siya sa principles na yun? Kung hindi siya sang-ayon, the possibility that option is wrong or that response of the social worker is wrong. Okay? So number 3, as principle, self-determination as the right of the client. Client has the right to determine what he needs are and how they should be met. Usually contradicting kasi yan, especially kapag hindi sang-ayon sa social worker kasi. For example, kung si social worker, ang pagkakaintindi niya sa problema is based from his theories, based from the knowledge, no? Tested knowledge, hypothetical knowledge, and even assumptive knowledge. Kung based siya doon sa kanyang understanding ng problema ng kliyente, then possibility na hindi tugma yung pagkaka-define ni worker, tsaka hindi tugma yung nape-present ni kliyente na problema. In that case, kapag hindi tugma yung definition of the problem, magkakaroon ng bargaining na tinatawag, no? Bargaining. So, magkakaroon ng kompromiso. So, si social worker will try to understand the client in his context, tapos si kliyente will try to advocate in his behalf how he defined the problem through discussion. So through discussion, may explain, maintindihan ng dalawang party kung ano yung common ground na pwede nilang solusyonan. So again, meron tayong 3 types of problem. Presenting problem, ano yung burnout out ng kliyente, usually ay yung pinaka-urgent na na-feel ni kliyente na kinakailangan tugunan. Underlying problem would be the cause, the overall situation that perpetuate the presenting problem. At saka yung working problem. Yung working problem, yun yung problem that will arise in the near future kapag although ma-resolve na yung presenting problem at underlying problem, mag-i-exist pa rin yun. It's because of the lack of opportunities or basically the personal inadequacies of the client. So yun yung 3 types of problem. So we should define it na naka-base lang sa kliyente. And nakadepende din ang desisyon kung paano yung solusyonan ni kliyente. Now question, paano kapag that decision will put the client in danger Now, that is one of the ground to break self-determination as a principle. Social worker will not manipulate but guide him in understanding his problem and provide choices or alternatives with corresponding choices. So, option A, option B, option C, option D. Option A, these are the pros and cons of the decision. Option B, pros and cons. Now, remember, in presenting pros and cons in every option, you should be objective. You should not exaggerate advantage and disadvantage of each option based from your personal preference. For example, if bringing mo, lumaki ka sa isang violenteng pamilya na it lead to a broken family. Yung nanay mo is a victim of violence against women. Tapos, physical abuse. Tapos, nag-grow yung problem kasi sa pananaw mo, hindi lumaban yung nanay mo na sinampahan yung kaso ng tatay mo. Pero although, wala na yung tatay mo, pero traumatic experience. Ngayon, kung hindi mo yun na-process as a social work practitioner, here comes another client with the same situation as yours. Ngayon, personally motivated na yung nagiging option mo kasi nagkakaroon na ng manipulation. For example, option A, option B. Option A, sige nay. Option A, papakasuhan mo yung partner mo. Kung papakasuhan mo yung partner mo, these are the advantage. Possible na you will live peacefully, tapos possible na hindi ka na maka-experience ng violence, possible na yung anak mo is although walang papa, mananatiling healthy yung kanilang psychological blah blah blah. So na-exaggerate mo ngayon yung positive, pero hindi at the same time hindi mo na emphasize yung disadvantage na pakakasuhan. Kasi kung papakasuhan, possible na yung situation ng nanay is economically dependent pa rin siya sa kanyang partner. Kung economically dependent, possible na yung pagdadaanan niya is hindi mahirap kasi mag-isa na lang siyang tatayong parent sa kanyang 4 na anak. So yun, that is a form of manipulation because you tend not to become an objective but nagiging personal na yun sa iyo. Again, self-determination, we should remember that it is not absolute. No? It is relative. Pag sinasabi natin relative, it changes based on the situation. It's not an absolute matter. Ano ba yung ground to break self-determination as principle? First is kapag yung option ng kliyente is nakaka-harm sa kanyang sarili and towards identifiable third party. So, pwede mo siyang i-break as a principle. Another self-determination, kapag psychologically incapacitated yung kliyente, no? Ang family mismo ang may karapatan, no, to determine what is good for that individual. And another, self-determination. Self-determination pwede siyang ma-apply doon sa mga bata, no? It is not absolute. Kapag ang bata is 18 years old below, ang may legal capacity to determine what is good for that child is yung kanyang parent. Paano ngayon, for example, in case of adoption, yung parent cannot decide, no? Yung parent ngayon, economically speaking, walang capacity to raise the child. Ngayon, sinabi nila na i-keep nila yung bata. Again, it is a balance of the ethics and the law. No? Yung parents portray na ang government would assume the role of the parent if hindi makaya gampanan ng parent. For example, mayroong violence sa pamamahay. So, may karapatan ng government to take care of the child. Kasi the parent also has the legal obligation to take care of the children. Ano yun, kung hindi capacitated yung parent, now the government will assume that role. Yun yung parents portray as a principle, as a concept. Okay. Another principle is the principle of individualization. Dito, we will assume that every human being is unique. Even the biological twin, may unique characteristic talaga. According to Clarkholm, Murray, and Snyder, every man is like all other men. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng tao ay magkapareho. For example, pareha tayong nag-iisip, we are rational being, usually some physical aspect ito ng every man like all other men. Pareho tayong may puso, pareho tayong may mukha, pareho tayong tao na may karapatan. And every man is like some other men. May kapareho tayo in some aspect. For example, some other men, may kapareho ko taga-probinsya, may kapareho ko same kami na paaralan na pinapasukan. Pareho tayo ng course. Some other men, because sa ibang profession, may magkaiba din silang pareho. But every man is like no other man. May unique characteristic tayo. Now, if we believe to that, every man is like no other man, thereby yung mga principle of how we deal with clients should not be the same, no? Kinakailangan talaga unique yung ating approach, unique yung ating intervention, how we assess the client, how we intervene with the client, how we ask question is unique based doon sa principle of individualization. No, ngayon, again, in answering situational cases, option A to D, we assess if option A, sang-ayon ba siya sa principle of individualization? Sang-ayon ba siya sa principle of acceptance? Sang-ayon ba siya sa principle of self-determination? Sang-ayon ba siya sa principle of participation? If kung hindi, possible na yung option A is mali. Okay? Another principle is the principle of confidentiality. This principle of confidentiality, it serves as to protect the client's welfare within the limits of the law. Again, within the limits of the law. Ibig sabihin, kapag the client violated, mayroon siyang criminal activity, tapos sabi niya sa iyo na, pangako mo sa akin, ma'am, huwag mong pagsasabi ito sa mga law enforcement agency, what should be your response? Yung mga ganyang mga question. Your response should be, hindi ka dapat makapagbigay, no? Magbigay ng false hope na because hindi ka dapat magbigay ng false hope na hindi mo ma-divulge yung information na yan because you are legally and morally obliged to divulge any information that has something to do about the welfare of your client. No? But is it absolute? No, it is not. What are the grounds to break confidentiality? First is merong case conference or even supervisory process. Ang rationale niyan, it's because how can your colleague or how can your supervisor help you to become an effective social worker if you do not divulge any information pertaining to your client's welfare? So, kailangan mo talagang i-divulge yung information. And commitment of crime. Yung commitment of crime, again, you are morally obliged to divulge any information. But if another ground is yung case proceedings or pinatayo ka ng court witness. So again, you can divulge that information to the court. What else? What else? Medical record. So kailangan, for example, maka-avail yung kliyente mo dapat maka-avail yung kliyente mo sa antiretroviral na medical procedure para sa makontrol yung HIV within sa kanyang system. So ngayon, kinakailangan talaga niyang i-divulge yung kanyang information kasi as we all know, yung colleague natin, yung medical practitioner, they also practice confidentiality as a principle in their profession. So again, another thing, kapag yung kliyente ayaw niyang sabihin na meron siyang communicable disease or meron siyang patuloy pa rin yung sexual relationship niya with her girlfriend or boyfriend although meron siyang HIV. Then, pwede siyang maging ground to break confidentiality to inform the third person that he is in danger. Kasi, again, ground siya, no? Because in social work, we do no harm. So, we are morally and legally obliged to inform the third party that he is in danger in case na, kasi, papanagutin ka talaga ng batas kung hindi mo siya i-divulge. But then again, all those grounds, those 6 grounds to break confidentiality, pwede mo nga siyang i-divulge as long as pasok siya sa 6 na qualification na yun, as long as merong informed consent. Okay? Although hindi siya totally consent na pumayag siya na i-divulge, but merong first-hand information na tanggap siya na, oy, kliyente, magsa-stand ako ng court witness. So, pwede kong i-divulge. As long as na-inform mo siya, although not necessarily na merong consent, although mas mainam na meron talagang consent, pero again, merong information, no? Merong information na nakarating sa kanya na you are going to divulge this information because you are legally obliged to do so. Okay? Another principle is the principle of worker self-awareness. Itong principle of worker self-awareness, you must be conscious in your professional role in the helping relationship. Kaya nga, bawal talaga juwain yung ating kliyente. Bawal makipag-engage in a professional helping relationship kapag meron kayong previous sexual or emotional relationship because prone siya na magkaroon ng transference at the same time counter-transference, and that would jeopardize the professional helping relationship. The worker self-awareness calls for a conscious use of oneself. No? We should be aware of our own biases. We should be aware of our prejudices, values, and beliefs. Yun yung sinabi ko kanina. For example, another example, if yung pamilya mo, pinalaki ka sa isang conservative family na merong conservative values na naniniwala that premarital sex is bad, it is morally wrong. Ngayon, meron kang kliyente na may kliyente ka na sexually abused tapos that leads into prostitution. Ngayon, ayaw mo sa kanyang pananalita kasi masyadong direct, masyadong vulgar, hindi siya sang-ayon sa iyong values. Ngayon, napagalitan mo yung kliyente. Anong principle na violate? Na-violate mo yung worker self-awareness. At saka, worker self-awareness it is also part of the acceptance as principle. No? Na-violate mo siya, it's because that is not according the way you approach the client or the way you respond to your client is not in accordance with the professional standard, but in accordance, it is personally motivated, not a professionally motivated course of action. Self-discipline is crucial in the conscious use of oneself. Again, aware tayo sa ating biases na wag naging aware tayo sa ating biases, then maiiwasan natin na yung action or intervention or response natin towards our client, mapa-individual, group, even family or community, maiwasan natin na maging bias, magkaroon ng pabor sa kanila, pabor sa atin or even sa ating belief or sa ating standard. Last na principle is the client-worker relationship. It should be clear that in the problem-solving or the worker problem-solving relationship, merong element, may 4 na element. It should have a controlled relationship. No? Hindi dapat lumagpas sa personal boundary. No? Mga question like, Meron ka ng girlfriend, paano mo, how should you respond in that situation? No? First, you must recognize na ano ba yung, you should discuss it with your client na saan ba ano bang pinagmulan what is the rationale behind that question? Maybe, unconscious na nasabi yon, or maybe, meron siyang problema when it comes to homosexual relationships. I mean, no, heterosexual relationship or even intimate relationship or romantic relationship. Siguro natanong niya yun is because yun yung at the back of his mind. Control relationship in a way na bawal kang lumagpas na personal, no? Bawal makipag-date after the intervention. Bawal it is unethical for us to engage or go beyond the professional relationship. Okay? Purpose, it should be purposeful. Ibig sabihin, once na-achieve na yung purpose, it is goal-directed. Kung na-end na, then end na. Wala talagang forever sa helping relationship in the social work context. It should have a mutual agreement. No? I am here to help you. I am here to help yourself. Client is presenting the problem, that is the nature of the relationship, and worker respond to it according to the mandate of our agency, not according to his personal belief. And controlled emotional involvement is crucial in this principle because we cannot remove the fact that social worker are human being also. Na may biopsychosocial spiritual din tayo. Psychologically, we are emotional being. Especially sa mga kliyente natin na mga long-term, therapeutic in nature yung type of relationship nyo, hindi talaga maiwasan na emotionally attached, especially sa mga bata. What we can do about it is to control our emotion. That is why during our intake, no, as much as possible, if hindi natin mapigilan yung luha natin, then we can excuse ourselves for a moment, tapos balik na naman tayo. Kasi we cannot portray ourselves as being weak, as being too emotional in dealing with the client, because that would send a message to our client na we are not engaging na professional, but we are engaging in a way of relationship na para siyang friendship that nagkakaroon ng karamay yung kliyente. No, it is not that. It is not like that. So, may iwasan natin yan using this principle. No, ngayon, yung principle kasi, again, principle sa mga case situation could be an effective frame of analysis. I-analyze mo yung question A, B, C, D. Sang-ayon ba siya sa 7 generic principles? Letter B, sang-ayon ba siya sa 7 generic principles? Kung hindi siya sang-ayon sa acceptance, pero hindi siya sang-ayon sa self-determination, that would be a list of your priority na pwede mong sagot sa question na yon. So, possibility na pinaka-list siya na option or possible na mali talaga yung option na yon. Okay, that is the nature. And okay, next topic, the professional ethics. So, from that philosophy, nagkakaroon tayo ng value. From that value, nagkakaroon tayo ng principle para talaga para mahimay-himay natin, no? Mahimay natin yung specific. But out from that principles, nagkakaroon tayo ng professional ethics. Ang ethics, ang pinanggalingan niya, yung values, yung philosophy, at yung principles natin. Ang PASWI, nagsimula yung PASWI Code of Ethics, no? Codified siya, code, kasi nakasulat, klarong-klaro na nakasulat siya in black and white. Nagsimula siya noong 1964, tapos nagkaroon ng revision in 1972, at yung final na Code of Ethics na fina-follow natin as of today is yung 1998 Code of Ethics. I will not discuss in details the content of professional Code of Ethics because it is not explainable. No? The word itself, the word na nakapaloob doon will speak for itself. Ang professional Code of Ethics, overview lang. No? Ang part 1 ng professional code of ethics are general principles or standards, including the standards of ethical conduct relative to self and the profession, towards the client, and towards the colleague. Sa part 2 naman ng professional code of ethics natin are written duties and obligations that are expected of professional social workers. These are the duties towards our client, duties towards our colleagues and the profession, duties towards our agency or organization that we're working with, and duties towards the communities or public. Ang anyway, kung may panahon kayo, basahin niyo na lang yung Code of Ethics natin. No? Available naman siya online or available naman siya doon sa Social Welfare and Social Work book ni Telma Lee Mendoza. Andun naman po yun. Okay. Dito lang tayo sa purpose. What are the purposes of Code of Ethics? Pinakauna is it will help checks abuses which can result from the powers and privileges accompanying the monopoly enjoyed by the profession. Of course, we are recognized by the state through the provision under the Republic Act 4373 that the state recognizes as a profession. At the same time, there is a admission to the profession that there is also a monopoly in a specific field. For example, for example, hiring, nakalagay sa HR, no, sa company, hiring social workers. So saan ba yan nanggaling? According yan sa 4373 na si social worker lang ang may specialized field of knowledge sa ganitong area, thereby i-hire natin social workers. So along with that rights and privileges that we get from the 4373, the Code of Ethics will help checks abuses when it comes to the power, rights, and privileges granted us by the law. Second purpose of the Code of Ethics is this will provide as a community some protection against abuses by the members of the profession. Another, it provides a community some protection against abuses by the members of the profession. It sets basic principles which serve as the guidelines to members of the profession and which are helpful in socialization in the future of professionals. And it will help the social workers to set guidelines for relationships, if not specific duties of members of each other to the client and to the other groups. It is useful source of enrichment or improvement of the professional curriculum. Kasi nga, some of the curriculum might not align with this Code of Ethics, or the justification of insertion of the new curriculum or some elective curriculum would base on from the professional Code of Ethics. So, out from that ethics, nagkakaroon ng ethical dilemma. Pag sinasabi natin ethical dilemma, nagkakaroon ng problem when it comes to decision on how to take course of action. So, first is manipulation. Yung manipulation as a form of ethical dilemma, this is a form of influencing the client's decision. Yun yung sabi ko kanina na self-determination. Based from your understanding, yung kliyente, yung decision niya, is para sa yun is nakakasama, pero para sa kanya, or how he defined that problem is yung ways on achieving that decision is healthy naman para sa kanya. So ang tendency niya is magkakaroon ng manipulation based from your own belief. Nagkakaroon ng manipulation, you exaggerate this certain option without equally emphasizing the other option of the client. So ethical dilemma siya. Manipulating agency report to justify budgetary request. For example, you're working with a community. Tapos sa community, alam mo na nangangailangan talaga sila ng tulong. And sa pangangailangan ng tulong ngayon, you manipulate some of the data na para magmukhang kawawa talaga sila na para ma-justify na ipapatuloy yung fund sa community na ito. Again, that is a form of manipulation, and thereby that is an ethical dilemma in the social work practice. Another form of ethical dilemma is advocacy. That is advocacy for a cause versus rational processes. The same with manipulating, pero dito sa advocacy, how the way you advocate is you are exaggerating that kawawa itong community na ito, without manipulating, no? Kawawa itong community na ito, kawawa itong na group, thereby kailangan na suportahan ng agency with the resources of the agency. Another, resorting to machination of insult, distortion, or truth, and even violence. And we should be reminded that in advocacy, the end does not justify the means. No? Kahit paano pa kaganda, humane yung purpose, but yung pamamaraan mo is through insult, through distortion, or through distortion of truth and even violence. Again, hindi ma-justify ng purpose mo yung pamamaraan mo. Okay? Another ethical dilemma that we're having difficulty with in dealing with a certain situation. Third is the conflicting loyalties. These conflicting loyalties, which question your loyalty. Agency versus professional duties, or agency mandate versus professional organization mandate. For example, sabi ng professional organization mandate, you should be updated, you should be keep abreast with the latest trend by attending, by developing our professional knowledge and competencies through attending seminars who have this CPD unit. But according to your agency mandate, huwag mo ka munang mag-attend ng seminar na yan kasi napapractice naman dito yung capacities and competencies mo. Huwag ka munang kasi walang time, kasi walang budget. Now, ano yung gagawin mo? No? Another, agency versus professional duties. Sabi ng supervisor mo, sabi ng agency, sabi ng administrator, sabi ng board of directors na limited lang yung ating intervention. It's because limited yung ating resources. Sabi ng professional duties, we should provide an intervention that is holistic. No, ano yung susundin mo ngayon? So again, it is a dilemma, no? Conflicting loyalties. Saan ba yung loyalty mo? Again, this call for a balance. This call for a self-awareness as a principle. This call for we should uphold the values for us to be guided. Ano bang certain actions na sa paningin natin tama? Another is cultural and other realities, no? Professional culture versus personalistic culture and political influence. For example, sinabi ni Mayor na wag i-serve yung barangay na yan kasi natalo ako sa election na yan. Tapos ikaw, social worker, ikaw na social worker, you are there to serve the people. Paano ngayon yan? Pipiliin mo bang matanggalan ng trabaho or pipiliin mo mag-serve, i-fulfill yung duty mo as a social worker? So again, dilemma siya. It's because we cannot decide at that time na ito yung tama. Kasi kinakailangan mo pa siyang i-weigh in. And ang magiging guide natin yan is yung professional code of ethics tsaka yung values and principles natin. Okay? Punta tayo sa sa last topic nito, sa universal principle. These are the principles that arises out from the international definition of social work, which states that social work is a practice-based and academic discipline that promotes social change and development, social cohesion, empowerment, and liberation for all people, utilizing 4 fundamental principles. What are these 4 fundamental principles? These are the principle of social justice, principle of human rights, principle of collective responsibility, and principle of respect for diversity. So yung 4 na principle, belong pa rin siya sa philosophical base. Yun yung ating i-discuss sa next slides na ito. Okay? First is the principle of social justice. Pag sinasabi natin social justice, it is basically the condition of being just and fair to all human beings in the society. It includes impartial and honest distribution of material goods, equal scope for physical, mental, social, and spiritual development. So social justice, the concept of social justice itself upholds the principle that all men are entitled to fulfill his basic human needs regardless of superficial differences such as economic disparity, classes, regardless of your social class, upper class, lower class, or middle class, disparity based on class, the caste, disparity based on gender, disparity based on religion, disparity based on citizenship, and disability. It involves an approach that eradicate poverty and illiteracy, suppression of discrimination, corruption, and other criminal activities, development of sound social policy, social provision of equal opportunities so as to bring about healthy personal and social development. It has 2 goals, ang social justice. Rectification of injustice, meaning correction sa mga injustices, even historical injustices, social injustices, policy injustices. And after that, removal of imbalances in social, cultural, economic, and educational life of human beings. If we try to look at this, this picture here, pag sinasabi natin concept of inequality, it is the unequal access of opportunities. Mapapansin natin yung puno, pabor yung opportunities o pabor yung mansanas na mahuhulog doon sa batang naka-red. Okay? Yung naka-blue naman, walang opportunities na mabibigay kasi unequal, no? Naka-lean yung opportunities doon sa bata, sa isang bata. Pag sinasabi naman nating equality, yung sa baba ng inequality, you are providing them, no? You evenly distributed, providing them the same opportunities by providing them the same height of ladder. But then again, equality doesn't work in the lens of social justice is because ang nakaka-benefit lang is yung mas advantageous na class, no? And yung naka-blue naman na bata, wala siyang mapunit, makuhang bunga, although nabigyan mo na siya ng equally distributed tools and assistance to make himself avail the opportunities. But then again, hindi pa rin nag-work kasi equal yung pagkakadistribute. Yung limited resources, nakukuha lang doon sa mas advantage na party. Yung principle of equity naman, ito yung nag-work out as compared sa equality because you are providing much opportunity or tools or assistance to those most disadvantaged, most deprived, exploited, and most most suppressed na sector. So mapapansin natin yung hagdan tumaas bahagya doon sa disadvantaged na bata. Pero pag sinasabi nating social justice, ito yun. Pag sinasabi nating social justice, we are fixing the system to offer equal opportunities to both tools and opportunities to the both individual. Makikita natin that yung nakabend na kahoy, yun yung nagsisilbing opportunities. And we try to fix that system itself para yung bunga is equally distributed and the tool that they are using, yung ladder, is evenly distributed. That is the social justice. Ito yung principle natin. No? Hindi siya nakabase sa inequality, hindi siya nakabase sa equality, hindi siya nakabase sa equity, but we are more on fixing the system in order for the system to become responsive na makaka-avail yung dalawang or regardless of your parties, provided na meron kayong ladder that serve as a tool in achieving self-fulfillment. Yun yung principle of social justice. Yun, what are the scope of social justice? Kasali dyan yung human trafficking, child labor, poverty. These are some examples. Gender and race discrimination, bonded labor, ethnic discrimination. Because these involve a systematic approach to the problem. Because poverty, for example, you cannot give a man a fish. He will live for a day, no? In a way, you will teach a man how to fish, at the same time, we will provide a policy that can ensure that your action is sustainable. No? Lahat ng ito is merong systematic problem. That is why we need to fix the system. Another principle, so social justice, human rights. In general, right may be defined as a justified claim or entitlement. From its basic definition, right is also something that one may legally or morally claim. The state of being entitled or privilege or immunity or authority to act. That is the basic definition. Pero kung sa Tagalog, root word ng karapatan, di ba? Right is karapatan. Ang root word ng karapatan is dapat. No? So dapat entitled ka nito, dapat makuha mong benepisyo na ito. It's because tao ka. So yun yung konsepto ng karapatan, no? It is just. What are the characteristics of human rights? It is inherent, it is inalienable, it is interdependent, interrelated, it is indivisible, it is universal, it is egalitarian. Pag sinasabi natin inherent, the moment you are born as a person, automatic meron ka ng karapatan. It is inalienable, ibig sabihin, nobody can grant you or can take away that right from you. Pag sinasabi natin interdependent and interrelated, and even interdependent and interrelated, yung characteristic na ito, you cannot fulfill a single right without fulfilling the others. Pag sinasabi natin indivisible, it is undivided. No? Sinasabi natin universal, it is applicable to all. Pag sinasabi natin egalitarian, human rights are equal to all. So human rights are commonly understood as inalienable, fundamental rights to which person is inherently entitled simply because he or she is a human being. Human rights are thus conceived as universal, meaning applicable everywhere, and egalitarian, the same for everyone. These rights may exist as a natural rights or as a legal rights in both national and international law. So that is the concept behind the human rights, and we uphold that. So the nature of human rights. Human rights are universal character and do not have any geographical or political boundary. Ibig sabihin the universal characteristic of human rights, that means it is applicable to all human rights regardless of the political boundary or regardless of the country that you are in. May pinagkaiba yan sa political rights because political rights are are limited to the political boundary of a certain nation. No? May karapatan yung American citizen sa American soil, may karapatan yung Filipino as a Filipino citizen. Yun. Pero yung human rights, regardless of your nationality, regardless of the political boundaries of each nation, it is ini-enforce talaga siya. So human rights, it endorses the use of persuasion as well as force by international community or any country violating human rights. Meron tayong mga International Criminal Court, meron tayong mga Human Rights Watch, mga Human Rights Repertoire, mga representative that would investigate any human rights violation committed by the state or committed by a certain group. Na ngayon, ang limitation lang, these impositions, kasi sabi natin use of persuasion, this imposition may be restricted in the interest of public peace, social decency, and political security. Kasi nga medyo maingay na ngayon yung anti-terrorism bill na pinopropose, no? Again, it is an issue between human rights and legal rights or political rights of a certain nation to determine what kind of law that would be imposing. Now, also, it has to be kept in mind that the nature of these human rights, individual countries have cultural uniqueness. Example, in the Philippines, meron tayong indigenous practices with own set of traditions which restrict people from enjoying certain rights that have recognized or against human rights. For example, makikita natin yung bullfighting. Yung bullfighting, makikita natin kawawa yung bull, at the same time, people are enjoying it watching that. Again, clearly, there is a violation of human rights in the international perspective, but in the culture of the certain country where bullfighting is a tradition, conflicting siya doon sa pananaw, perspective ng human rights. So, again, that is, and the intricacies, that is the elusiveness of human rights. Kaya, medyo critical yung issue ng human rights as with regards. But as a social worker, pinapaninindigan natin because that is our principle. No? Kapag merong mga, for example, ikaw, yung belief mo is sang-ayon doon sa belief ng some Filipinos that salot talaga yung CHR na yan, Commission on Human Rights. Paano naman yung pulis na napapatay, etc., etc. Again, we are sticking to the belief that human rights, it's inherent, it is inalienable, it is indivisible. Yung some of the characteristic na kinakailangan natin persuade, no? So, kung may mga question doon that will probably question your stand on human rights, talagang mamamali ka kung pipiliin mo yung ganung pananaw. Pipiliin mo talaga yung stand ng ating profession kasi that is the standard of the profession. Okay, we have the three generation of human rights. First generation, these are the civil and political rights. Example niyan, the right of freedom of expression and opinion, assembly, and life. The second generation right, ito yung economic, social, and cultural rights. Right to subsistence, right to employment, right to housing, right to adequate food, and right to clothing, right to adequate healthcare, and right to social security. Yung third generation right naman, ito yung tinatawag nating solidarity rights. These rights are, example ng rights na ito is yung right to economic development, right to benefit from the world trade, right to breathe unpolluted air, right to live in a cohesive and harmonious society. So these are some rights na ina-uphold natin as a social work practitioner. Okay? Pangatlong principle is the principle of collective responsibility. The idea of collective responsibility highlights the reality that individual human rights can only be realized on a day-to-day basis if people take responsibility for each other and environment, and the importance of creating reciprocal relationships within the communities that it is. Now, this collective responsibility is in support with the ideals or the concept of human rights, because we cannot enforce individual rights without seeing the collective rights of the people. The social work profession here, in this principle, recognizes that human rights need to coexist alongside with the collective responsibility. Therefore, a major focus of the social work is to advocate for the rights of the people at all levels and to facilitate outcomes where people take responsibility for each other's well-being. Now, at the same time, we realize and respect interdependence among people and between people and the environment. So, interdependence siya ng first generation, second generation, at saka third generation. That is what we call collective responsibility. And last na principle, and the last slide, respect for diversity. Here, respect for diversity stands for, if this would be the principle, the action of social workers is working towards strengthening inclusive communities that respect the ethnic and cultural diversity of societies, taking into account the individual, family, group, and community differences. Another action would be the social worker recognizes that the respect for and acceptance of diversity must not be used to stretch boundaries moral relativism, to the point that where the rights of some groups person, including the right to life, example, women and sexual, ethnic, and religious minorities, are violated in favor for those majority. So social worker ngayon should problematize and challenge those cultural practices that limit the full enjoyment of human rights. For example, may karapatan, may cultural right or ethnic right ang for example, pangayaw as an cultural right of the indigenous people where nagkakaubusan ng lahi, no? May tribal war between those ethnic group. Again, karapatan nila 'yon, no? Cultural right nila 'yon. But then again, that cultural right something that has something to do that impedes or that endanger the very nature of human rights. So ngayon, si social worker ngayon, we problematize and challenge those cultural rights na hindi contributing doon sa fulfillment ng the true nature of human rights. And last would be social worker recognize that constructing and dealing with socioeconomic concerns as cultural issues often deny or minimize underlying structural factors that contribute psychosocial challenges. So, hindi siya individual level, kundi ang respect for diversity, when we recognize and construct the socioeconomic concern, it is more on structural factors. So, I think